Steve Mignoni here at Bernison Auto Wrecking in Bernison, Massachusetts, doing the Junkyard Crawl. And yes, it's time for installment number 5 of the Hubcap game. So let's open the doors of this late 60s Chevy panel van and begin. All right, let's see. Cadillac, Coupe DeVille right here. Now the Eldorado never used these wheel covers. They actually had a different rim, which had a bit of an offset to it, which took a deeper hubcap. But again, this is something you'd find like on a 70, 71 Cadillac full-size rear-wheel drive car. Of course, the Cadillac crest held on with 3 little one-way snap clips, all metal. Stainless steel, but again, the metal on these puppies is ferrous or iron-based, so it's starting to rot away. But again, there's a beautiful Cadillac wheel. Oh, this is interesting. I think this is a Rover, a mid-60s Rover 3500 or maybe a 2000. It's a British car, 4-door saloon. They were sold in this country by the Roots Group. And again, this is a one-piece type wheel with metal snap rings here. But the middle here, you can see these little tabs. The center is replaceable. What does that mean? That means that this little bland button can be replaced with something different, maybe for the British market. But I dare say this is from a Rover, about a 68 Rover 2000, maybe a 3500. And again, that Rover 3500 used General Motors 3.5 liter or 3500 cc aluminum V8. It was sold to the Roots Group and appeared on cars like this. But I'm going to bet that's a Rover hubcap. At least that's what I'll say now. Let's see more. Okay, this here, it's missing its center, but I recognize this as about a 62 or 3 Buick Invicta wheel cover. And again, the vents here, kind of a new thing in the early 60s, allowing heat to escape from behind the hat of the wheel cover to allow the drum brakes, which these things still had, to cool off, or at least not trap that warm air, leading to brake fade. Okay, more Buick, this one here, probably about a 1965 or 6 Buick, Wildcat, full-size car, not Riviera, but again, the Buick crest in plastic, snapped in with these little ears that bend over, one piece, and again, little vents here to kind of sort of add a visual excitement and maybe vent a little bit of brake heat. Yeah, if you like your Chevy 409s, you'll recognize this, or your Biscaynes with 6 poppers. This is the Chevy bottle cap or dog dish or whatever you want to call it from like 1962. And this would have been seen again on a 409 Bel Air or a Biscayne. These are cool. I love these things. But again, these are more often seen on 6-cylinder cars and station wagons than on 409s. Okay, I mentioned Cadillac Eldorado a second ago. This is a Cadillac hubcap from about a 71 Eldo. And we can see it's a one-piece structure with big fins, but notice how thick it sticks out. That's because the Eldorado has front-wheel drive, as did the old Tornado. And they had wheels that had a whole lot of inboard offset so that the front-wheel drive structure didn't stick out too far. So as a result, the wheels were kind of pronounced, and so too were the Cadillac Eldorado hubcaps, seen right here. Not flat like the rear-wheel drive cars. Kind of cool. All right, here's the Fratzog, which I hear Dodge is bringing back. That's the triangle-shaped thingamajig. They called that the Fratzog when they trademarked it. But this is a 67 Coronet, 14-inch wheel cover, basically one piece. But again, Dodge chose to use fasteners, these little screws here to secure the Fratzog to the front side. And again, there's different varieties of the center that could be utilized. I believe the Coronet 500 is something a little bit different. But again, this nice argent paint, the blackout. So they used paint effects to give visual excitement to a otherwise standard one-piece stamping. Kind of cool. And yeah, Hemi satellites, or sorry, Hemi Coronets. There's a couple of Hemi Coronets built in '67, a handful of them. They were not RTs, they were Hemi Coronet 500s. They had these wheel covers on them. Look at Motor Trend magazine test back in the day, and you'll see these wheel covers on those Hemi cars. Kind of neat. Speaking of Dodge and Fratzogs, here is a 65 Coronet wheel cover. It's kind of cool. I always thought this looked like an elevator push button, but there's the Fratzog in plastic right there. And here is at the rear the plastic thing, and again, this is held in, but this is kind of weird, this little gasket. Why would they have that? Maybe it's an anti-rattle thing, or kind of weird. It's all dry and falling apart, but kind of weird. But I like how these are red translucent plastic, which are then sprayed from the back to give it kind of a three-dimensional look. But again, this would have been seen like on a 65 Coronet 500 or 440, just a nothing mobile, 14-inch wheel cover. But if you're restoring one and you want the correct look, have fun trying to find those today. Okay, mid-70s Chevy Impala right here. It's a 15-incher. This would have been seen on, I think still when Impalas had round headlights. They went to rectangular ones, I think in 76 or thereabouts, but 74, 75 Impala, full-size wheel cover. Not very exciting, and again, not even a pass-through for air to reduce. But again, by this point in 75, disc brakes were on the fronts of Impalas and Caprices, so the matter of heat trapping inside of this thing was minimal, because disc brakes do a far better job of dissipating heat than drums. So I guess they decided to cut costs, just paint that black, don't worry about making it real. Oh yes. Base wheel cover for, yes, a Pontiac GTO in 1965. And we can see where Pontiac kind of tried to give it like a magnesium flat black look, or flat gray, the slots. And here's the Pontiac Motor Division crest right here. And on the back side, there is construction. This is pressed in. Interesting. No fasteners for fast construction. And again, these things are 14s. These were found on, these are the first level wheel cover option on a GTO. There was actually a bottle cap on the GTO, the base car. But this is commonly seen on a GTO or a Tempest or Le Mans as well. But yeah, Pontiac restorers, take note. This is cool right here. Chevy pickup truck, but look at this, the fake lug nuts on this thing. This is like from a C10, 1967, 68, maybe 69. Die cast center, stamped stainless, but again, these lug nuts, don't try to remove them. The lug nuts are held on by little bolts, kind of a weird thing. And again, these are all not hand built, but a lot of labor. Now, if you notice here, this sort of domed look right here, you could actually have this wheel cover without the center, this painted black, and that was the base wheel cover on the Chevy pickup truck. So one stamping could do two different jobs. It's smart engineering. Oh yes, okay. Okay, Mercury Comet. It says Comet twice. This would have been probably a 66 Comet base car. And again, just a very simple one-piece stamping. The black paint simulating the vents. I mean, kind of hokey. I hate to say that, but this is the base wheel cover, like on a Comet 202 or something like that. I believe 66, that's when these came along. Not very pretty, but then again, Comet's also the company that, or the brand in 1964 and 5, that they actually had fake steel chrome wheels. They were actually, they looked like a steel wheel in chrome, but it was actually a wheel cover. Maybe we'll find one in here. If we do, we'll certainly dig it up. Let's keep looking. Oh, okay, the dark days. We did a video not too long ago about a Chevy Citation. I think it was in '82. This is a Chevy Citation wheel cover. Now, the Citation came along, I think in '79. It was Chevrolet's first mass-produced front-wheel drive car. And we can see here the plastic bow tie presses in with these one-way tabs here. And again, it's a one-piece thing. I think these are 14, maybe 13 inches. I do like the textured argent effect here. So at least they, didn't just use a flat spray paint. Kind of cool, the texture. But this is from the dark days of front-wheel drive X cars, the Chevy Citation. But they kept the lights on at Chevrolet. All right, here is, we can see here the crown. This is a wheel cover from a former Chrysler Imperial. Imperial, of course, the crown, if you will, that was the motif. It's missing here, but this is definitely about a 51 or 2 Chrysler Imperial wheel cover. Somewhere along the line, the crown went missing. And that was a pretty cool piece. It had some enamel. It was a nicely done little ornament. But again, Chrysler Imperial, perhaps a Hemi car, the 331, was under the hood on Imperials. So another couple here, and then we'll wrap it up. This is cool. Now you see the Chief. Of course, we're talking about Pontiac, the Tin Indian, as it were. Maybe not so politically correct today, but yes, there's the Chief. Pontiac. This is probably a 52, something like that. Before the V8 age, that arrived in 55. So Pontiacs would have been inline 6s, I believe, maybe an 8-cylinder, but again, they were inline engines. But this would have been on a Pontiac Chieftain, probably a full wheel cover from the early 50s. And finally, ooh, yeah, if you like your Chevy Impalas, you'll remember this from 1964. This is what you'd find like on an Impala station wagon. Yes, even 409s in 64, which could be had with a detuned L33 with 340 horsepower for trailer towing, usually seen in wagons. But again, this is a 64 Chevy Impala 14-inch with the plastic center, and it's held on with these sort of fold-over tabs. I'm not sure if these were handmade or done with a machine. I'm not sure. But again, by not using fasteners, the assembly of these things was probably cut in a quarter, bang them out. So this is the story of the 64 Impala hubcap right here. There's lots more to come inside of the hubcap van here at Bernardston Auto Wrecking on the Steve Maggs YouTube channel on the Junkyard Crawl. So be sure to tune in and subscribe and ring the bell and hit the bar and all that good stuff, because there's a lot more hubcap game and Junkyard Crawl coming up right here on the Steve Maggs